So let's talk mind over matter, one of the topics the Arcturians love to talk about. So we've got three main layers of the mind that is here in the human form. Of course, there is the fourth higher mind, which is the source energy that seeded all of us, that part of us that is still source. But, we have to really recognize that this physical temple, this beautiful being that we are in, the human body, is made up of mind. It's made up of mind. And when we are birthed, when we come into this physical incarnation, seeded by the beautiful, union forces of source energy in all of its glory, the higher mind going, all of this planet, all of this universe, all of that is me as source energy having this wonderful creative experience. Let's drop another gem down onto earth so I can discover and create in the form of a Alice or in the form of a whomever, whatever your name is. Insert your name here. So then we become a seed of light. And that seed of light is like the bee of the bang. When union occurs and we start to create into the physical, we've gone through the gateways of the womb, and the lingam and the yoni have come into union, and this wonderful, wonderful energy has created the bee of the bang through which we are starting to now create ourselves physically. Well, so this is what happens. The conscious mind is everything that you're speaking, everything that you know to speak, everything that you see, that you analyze. That's the conscious mind. The body is made up of the subconscious mind. So that's all your inner child. That's like your inner child, your inner teenager. That's all the experiences that you've had that has caused fragmentation of the mind. Because remember, before we actually get here, we're whole. And then we birth ourselves into this illusion of separation. And when we birth ourselves into this illusion of separation, we have all these experiences with other emanations of source, other beings, which then causes us to oftentimes split ourselves because we have an emotional response or an emotional reaction to something someone is saying or doing, etc., etc. Of course, we are but for anyone who is on a healing journey, we're probably going to be looking at the layers of the subconscious and the unconscious, which is still trying to find their way home. So you have the conscious mind, that which knows and speaks and sees and analyzes. You have the subconscious mind, your body, what your body knows, what your body thinks, your DNA, your patterning, right? Your conditions and ailments and challenges. Then you have the unconscious mind. Oh, let us just say the subconscious part of the body. That's your emotional side. That's your emotional side. That's the magnetic field creating your reality. But the unconscious, this is what's really interesting. This is where we have that big separation energy that happens, which is usually comes from something such as shame or violence or something like that. Something which we have judged to a point of exclusion. This bit floats around us. It only comes through us. It's in the non-physical, really. It only comes through us through other beings. So through those friends or family members, or through those people that really wind you up, really get on your nerves. That's you, your unconscious self. Isn't that a different way of looking at it? Or not, perhaps, depending on how much you kind of ponder about the mind. But those people that wind you up, that's your unconscious self trying to get back home into you through compassion and love. So this is the funny thing, is when we get to the masculine and feminine energies within us, the masculine energy is the containment. But if we have excluded a part of us because it's been shamed or judged, or we've acted without realizing if we're in alignment or not, and there's been a big repercussion for that, and we've pushed that part of ourselves out, we're left with the emotion, we're left with the pain, we're left with the trauma. It's stored in the nervous system, it's stored in the body and the fascia. The unconscious part, the actual programming of it, the shadow side, is floating around us, popping through other people to show us through these things that we think, oh, this person's doing this and that person's doing that, and they are this and they are that. And then other people have different experiences of those people and go, oh, I've never seen that side of them. It's because it's coming from your unconscious. But if your masculine energy which is there to contain you and protect you and hold you and direct you, is got its walls so strong, then that part of you isn't going to be able to get to the compassion and the love of your heart. In order to come in, the masculine containment's judging it, saying, no, thank you. You don't get to come home. So this is where we have to be able to employ different aspects of our feminine or masculine energy, because it's the feminine energy that is unconditionally loving. Masculine energy in its unconditional loving state comes up differently. It shows up in structure and discipline and guidance and provision and protection and containment and things like that. Whereas the feminine energy, she needs to be contained. Otherwise she'll spill out. She needs to be contained, right? It's like having a glass of water. The water is the feminine energy. Without the glass, she'd be everywhere. And that's what happens, right? If our masculine energy isn't strong and isn't sovereign, that's what happens. Our energy is everywhere. We feel depleted and drained and volatilely emotional and things like that. Or vice versa. If the glass that contains the water is too tight or too small, and we can't actually expand in the feminine energy. So it's really quite an interesting one, because I think there's a lot of misconception about the mind and about energies and things like that. We have to allow the evolution of our mind. And if it's mind that becomes matter, we have to unify our mind before we can actually evolve the experience that we're having. Which means that we've got to do the shadow work to allow the unconscious aspects to come in, to curiously ponder them, recognize they're not going to hurt us, and recognize that the feelings that we're feeling that's being held in our fascia, in our organs, in our body, in our nervous system is actually a defense mechanism, a very successful one that has been programmed in by our ego to protect the body, to kind of keep it safe from feeling hard feelings. But we kind of have to feel those to let those other parts of ourselves come home so that they can balance, heal, alchemize, and transcend. The conscious mind is the most interesting bit, because it's the smallest part of us. And the conscious mind knows only itself. So whenever it's looking to another person, everything's coming through the lens of our conscious mind, which is fed and nourished by the programming of the subconscious mind, which is in the body, all the stuff that's been stuck emotionally. So if the conscious mind knows only itself, then I am statements will only get us so far. Sometimes we need to change it to you are statements to change some of the programming. But what's even better oftentimes is something called askfirmations. And askfirmations, you'll have heard me speak about this before, especially if you've been on some of the workshops about mastering the mind to consciously create, and that particular workshop there. But askfirmations are where you ask yourself questions in a positive way, even though it's not your experience, because your subconscious aspect of mind will, whatever you ask, will find a million reasons to validate it. So for example, if you're going, oh, why am I so depressed? Or why am I so upset? Why am I such a failure? Your subconscious mind goes, let me find a million reasons why those are true. But if we were to say something different, like, why is it I'm always surrounded by people that are happy? Why is it I always enjoy life? Why is it I wake up so ready to take on the day? Why is it that it's just such a joy to be here on earth? Why is it that I always feel so much love for everyone? Why is it that it's so easy to be in love? Why is it so easy to look myself in the eyes and just see the beauty that comes from within? Why is it so easy to feel the love of my heart and the love of source energy moving through me? When you ask questions like that, your subconscious mind goes, once again, let me find a million answers, a million reasons to validate those questions. And this is how we start to shift the programming that's held within the body. This is how we start to shift the focus of the mind. When we shift the focus of the mind, the reality shifts. The reality shifts because the magnetic field, which is based on the subconscious body, which is attracting everything, is also evolving, shifting, and changing. It's a really powerful thing to be aware of. But if you can ask curious questions, curiosity allows us to heal, because it takes away the sting of judgment and the sting of condemnation, right? That's why so many of us have like physical stuff going on, whether it's in the lungs or whether it's in the joints, the body, or the immune system, or anything like that. It's stagnation of energy. It's emotion, which is energy in motion that's been stuck. It's been over contained. It's like the glass has now got a lid on it. The emotion can't escape. It's got to be able to escape, you see? So I hope this has been helpful. It came up recently in a few appointments that I've had. So may it serve, may it help. By the time this video goes out, I will be fully booked before I go away. But if you are looking for one-to-one helps, assistance, guidance, support, healing, anything like that, I do have private appointments available again from the end of mid to the end of August. And I also have a couple of spaces left on Anchor Your Light Spiritual Mentorship. I think it is just 2 places left now on the Wednesday slots. So if it calls to you, it'll be a joy to work with you. You can send your applications in through my website at aliceheath.com. Sending you so much love, and be sure to be on my YouTube channel, subscribe, because there's a free workshop going live on the Lionsgate Way about letting love in.